Dumela, Saubona, Sakpase, Namaste, Avshin, Dubra Otra, Assalamu alaikum, Hotep. What's going on? Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Doria Larrier Show. This is season 2, episode 10, 20, 32. 32. And I am so excited to be here once again in order to bring to you inspirational leaders from not just across the street and across town, but across the country and across the world, who I think you should meet, get to know, and also build a relationship with. And tonight is no different. Tonight we are going to, now you know I'm a Brooklyn girl to my heart, but I decided to cross what we call the G Dub. Those people who are from New York or the Jersey folks know the G Dub, or if you're down a little south, then it's the Holland or the Lincoln. Yes, I'm going over to New Jersey and I'm going to chat with a great sister who lives over there and who's doing the darn thing. Please meet Sister Tevra Francis.
Hey, Doriel.
Hey, good evening.
How are you?
I am so excited. I'm thrilled. Welcome, of course, to the Doria Larrier Show. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you for having me. It has been a long time coming. We'll tell that backstory in a few minutes.
We're going to tell that backstory.
So how long it really took to get to this point. Thank you for being patient with me.
Exactly. That's what we're here. We are shepreneurs. We are, of course, just amazed at each other and each other's progress and growth and development. And the fact that we are trying to shine a light on those who are doing well. And I think that's what the two of us do together. And so I said, I've got to shout you out because you shout everybody else out. So for those of you who do not know, Tevra Francis is the founder of NJ in Color, which is a little bit of a shift of the former name. And I'm going to totally allow her to tell us what that shift is and why she shifted. And also tevMedia LLC. So let's give her a hot moment to just say who she is, what this is, and we're going to get into our conversation tonight. What's going on, Tevra? Tell us.
Not much. So, okay. So who am I? The girl.
We're gonna get the rap songs out.
Okay. I'm Jamaican American, so I'm gonna be corny like that. So,
okay.
all my full Jamaicans, forgive me also, but I have to get it in there some kind of way. Shout out to the Jamaicans in the house. So
okay, wait. Excuse me. I'm Bayesian. I'm just Bayesian by Ghana, so we're gonna throw that in there too. All right, go ahead.
Have to represent. So who am I? So I'm Tevra Francis. Like I just said, I'm Jamaican American. All my parents are both from Jamaica. They're immigrants that came here. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, Southern California. Grew up in the suburbs of Los Angeles, and long story short, went down south for college, got immersed in a lot of different, grew up West Coast, got immersed.
I don't really know what that is. It's so stereotypical, so I don't want to presume.
Yeah, all the stereotypes were there when I was growing up. I grew up in the 90s, so it was like, the height of everything. And then to go from there to the South in their height of the Atlanta music boom, and then for college, and then worked in the South for a long time, and then met my husband, who is a New Yorker, and lived here his whole, in the Northeast his whole life. So to be together, we had to make some decisions, and here I am. So yeah, that's what brought me here. My background is in healthcare, health insurance, healthcare administration. My educational background is a master's in healthcare administration. Okay. And then I was working in a hospital here in New York City. And, in the city, you kind of get exposed to so many different things. You don't really think about, home, because as you know, the Bridge and Tunnel crew, the New Jersey people that come into the city, we're hardly home long enough to really appreciate, what's around us in our towns. And so once I became in a situation where I did not have to go to the city as much anymore, I started looking around and said, I don't know anything about this place. Like, I don't know where to get my hair done. Wow. I don't know where to go to church. I don't know anything. And my husband's not the type of guy. He's not the most, hey, I have this whole crew of friends. Like, he's not that guy. So it was kind of just like he and I, and we did everything in the city. We went to shows. We did everything. All of our social stuff was in the city. We did not have a life in New Jersey, which that's what I wanted to establish since now I'm here. So the platform itself became something out of kind of like necessity slash by accident, because I just started sharing things that I did on my Instagram. I thought of a name and I was like, okay, I could throw these things here, because it was like, this could be a thing, but I don't know yet. I didn't want to, I still had dreams of like becoming like the next CFO or CMO of a major hospital or something.
Okay.
And so I wasn't really fully committed. Like, I still wanted to be in that world. But I was still, finding different events and things to go to, and take a couple pictures, and then as it started to catch on, I said, okay, this can kind of be a thing. And then I found the NAACP in Bergen County, where I live, reformed at that point. And so I took the idea to them and I was like, hey, I have this page that I've started. This is an idea that I have that, at that point I might have had like 300 followers, or I don't even like saying the word followers. Family. I call them family.
Okay.
It used to be called the Big Fam. So the page used to be called Bergen in Color for Bergen County.
Right. Okay.
And so NJIC doesn't roll off the tongue like Bergen in Color, but
Okay.
but the family. I call everybody the family. So back then I only had about 300 family members, and to explain a concept like this sometimes is not, people don't really get it, and even now people don't get it sometimes.
So wait, I'm gonna interject for just a minute. So I forgot to like give my little connection to New Jersey. So let me give that. Let me give like the key on that. Hold on, let me take a sip, because this is interesting. Because you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I know what that is. Wait.
Okay.
So if my mom is watching, and if she's not now, she will be in a second. So shout out to my mom and her family who went from Fort Apache, the Bronx, over the bridge to Englewood. So my mother and her parents and her brother and sisters were raised in Englewood. And if y'all know Englewood,
I can throw rock and hit Englewood. Yeah.
Palisade Avenue, right up Palisade Avenue. If y'all know, y'all know. She lived right up the block from the monument. Right up the
shout out
block,
to the
yep, 2 blocks away from the Teaneck border. The Teaneck border, right at the top. And so I actually sort of partially like grew up in that area. Love that area. And then for a time I actually I took over my grandmother's house. I love the house. But still worked in Brooklyn. Actually, I worked in East New York. So my commute was drastic.
Yeah.
And when I lived in New Jersey, it's just the neighborhood, the community was beautiful, but yes, it was very like insular. Like if you lived in the wards, like I think that part of right, 4th Ward. If you lived in the wards, then you lived and you did everything in the ward. And so if you cross Palisade Avenue, right? If you cross the street that's at the monument, so it's that whatever that perpendicular street is to Palisade Avenue.
I know the street, but you know how you drive places, you don't know the name of anything, but yeah.
Right. So it was like I kind of knew. I really had, like you said, I had to do like everything in the city because that's just where my home was. But also shout out to the people who worked in the bridge and tunnel, because my grandmother retired from the George Washington Bridge. She was a little toll clerk. Like shout out to Pansy James, because that was my grandma. And I have a heart and a love for New Jersey, even though of course I'm a Brooklyn girl. And so in essence, what you did is you are creating what has been known in our community as like a green book.
Yeah.
Right? You were creating a green book.
I wouldn't be so like, the green book has a very significant
yes, but
to our community. Let me not put there, it's like me saying like, I'm like the rose. Let me not do that.
No,
it's something that is helpful. It's a tool that can be used for our people. I can, the Green Book is that's heavy. That don't do that to me, because people will say, "Oh, but thank you. I'm flattered, but also
that's what I think about. So, I mean, for real, like if I'm, for example, like I just went to, I was just in New Orleans, right? Now, of course, New Orleans has its own beauty, its own montage. Like there are the places to go. But if I'm either relocating or if I'm visiting or if I'm going to a conference or if I have a long stay because I'm doing a project in the city, but I'm staying in New Jersey, because now people are doing that. They're doing work in the city, but they're staying.
There's so many Airbnb situations that people are just here and they're, I
and
get
so it's like, hey, and if I am of hue of melanation, right, and I need to go,
good,
where am I gonna get my locks done? I need some greens. I need some grits with salt in it. No sugar, salt. I need to know where to go. You better go to the monument, to that little soul food place at the monument on the right
Southern
side.
Gourmet.
Hello.
Is on Palisade. Shout out to my soror, Tia Jackson. She is on Palisades Avenue. Let me get her address. You know what? Tia is on. She's the soul food on Palisades Ave in Inglewood.
And how I know?
A few blocks up from the monument. Yeah.
How do I know? So I love the fact that you said that's a place that I love to eat at. You know what? Other people should know about it. That's a place that I can go get my dry cleaning done, and they're gonna take care of, like the grease from the collard grease, because they know how to get that out. Not everybody know how to get that out.
You know what? Honestly, I wish I could find a Black-owned dry cleaner. I have not been able to find that yet.
If you know one.
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. If anybody knows of one, please send it to me, because I've not found it yet. And I really do hunt for things. So yeah. But no, you're right. I did do this with the purpose of helping others, because I've lived in, so many, like I said, I moved here from the West Coast. I moved here from, I came here from California to the South. I went to school at the University of South Carolina. That's one huge move. From there, I took a job in Charlotte. I moved again. And then from Charlotte, I moved to Orlando, Florida area, which I moved several times. So it's just like every time you're starting over, it just becomes, inconvenient each time to have to start over with all of your things. So this was something that was kind of brewing. I think when I was in Charlotte, I wanted to start something similar to this in Charlotte, but I didn't stay long enough for it to be able to take root. And this was actually before like all of the social media stuff really took off. Back then we probably only had,
was it MySpace?
Yeah.
That's MySpace. Everybody still got their MySpace account.
Facebook
don't look my name up
coming in, but I think it was just MySpace at that time. So yeah, I think Facebook was in, but there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter. Right. It wasn't all like how it is now. No TikTok and all that stuff,
TikTok is like so last year.
Yeah, no, it was like you got a blogger. Remember Blogger? You got a Blogger?
I still have my Blogger account. There's only 5 things on there, but I still got it.
Yeah, and you figured it out. You put in your plugins and or you had WordPress, and people still have WordPress, but still, you figured it out. So that was back in those days, and that didn't even take off because I didn't have time. I took another, because you have to work, so that didn't take off. So didn't think about it in the Orlando area, but when I got here, it's just like, okay, now I kind of can think about this seriously and make this a thing, because I see that where it's needed. And this was before any of this is way before COVID. This was like what, 2018, before all the,
I remember you were starting to grow this.
Yeah, before the racial awakening and all that stuff, I was trying to figure it out. And also the backstory, again, one of our friends, Aisha Taylor Issa, founded the Sisters in Business Expo, to which I was the brand development manager. We just gave each other titles. I was helping her with that. At that point, I was her social media and marketing, person. And it was frustrating to me because, one, I didn't really know people, but I know how to do what I do. But as any person that does this knows, it's kind of hard. It's not hard. It's not a cop-out, but this business is about relationships. And when you're coming into a new market, you have to build relationships.
Right.
And this market didn't really have many outlets that were not, I won't say friendly, that understood
You can say it.
this concept.
You can
And
say it.
so to pitch a concept like hers to people who did not quite understand why it was necessary was difficult. And many times, most of the time, 95% of the time, they just wouldn't respond. And so it became frustrating because it's like, this is a big deal. This is so cool. Like, why don't you see what I see? But, it just became frustrating. So it's like, okay, so how do you build something that can benefit something like this? And I'm just using I'm using the expo as an example because that was the tangible thing that I was using to push out there. It's like you have to build your own platform. And that's going back to the importance of Black media. Black-owned media is so important because we are the best at telling our own stories, and we're the best at sharing our lifestyle. We're the best at sharing our culture. We can't assume, or I don't know if we can get mad when people don't share our culture that they don't understand. And if they try to do it and they do it wrong, we have to
then we got to check them.
Say, okay, well, they tried, but hey, when was the last time you bought an Essence subscription? When was the last time you helped out Ebony? Ebony magazine is like repackaging and doing a lot. Did you buy a subscription? Like, we have to check ourselves when we're getting mad at who doesn't support our stories. Then there are platforms that support our stories, but we don't put our money behind them so they can keep going. Black media is very important because, as we know, our culture is very vibrant and and colorful and rich, and it's just so many layers. Like I said, I'm Jamaican American, and the African American experience is there's so many layers within the African American experience that even I am still understanding. And I've lived here. I'm born here. I'm an American. I learn new things all the time. And this is not something that I'm studying in a book. I'm living it. However, there's things that even as a Black person, we can't assume every Black person can understand every Black experience.
Correct.
But it's helpful to have somebody who can kind of, navigate a lot of the
nuances.
Yeah, the nuances, so that we can lay these stories a lot better than say, I'm not even going to put anybody's thing out there, just than the mainstream, if that makes sense. So something like the expo, in particular was the reason why I said, I need to pick up the pace on this, because nobody's answering my emails, nobody's taking my calls. People just want to, and even within our own community, like, people just didn't get it. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
Right.
Like, I think if I was, New Jersey, not New Jersey in color, but the Bergen Record or NJ.com, like the mainstream newspaper, everybody would be tripping over themselves to find, if I was blah 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 magazine, I'm not even gonna say shot there, Dave.
Right. I got you.
I want no smoke. But if I was these other mainstream for our area platforms, people, our people, they trip over themselves to be in it. Meanwhile, here's Black media scratching and surviving to try to stay, get a foothold. But it's difficult. But I will say this. And shout out to the positive community.
Right.
They have been at it for at least 30, they're almost 35 years, almost over 30 years. They're called the Positive Community.
Yep.
And they have been based in the Black church community. And they've covered the news for the Black and the Beacon, and the Amsterdam News. There are platforms here, that have carried the torch all this time. Do they need support? They definitely do.
They sure do.
And new and upcoming platforms, we need your support as well, because, like I said, we need all of us to be able to tell our story, and we can't just rely on everybody else.
So actually, let me take a moment to do like a PSA, and it's going to be a part story, a thing that like literally sticks into my mind that focuses on what you say.
Yes.
People will scratch at the door of the other folk to get on their, watch this, to get on their page 32. And let me take a sip on that one.
I didn't even want to look up on that because, you know.
And we're the we are like, hey, I can give you page 2.
I'll give you the cover.
Oh, page 1, right, and page
Let me start talking about covers later on because I don't want to give out all my cards on this thing.
But and that really actually should be like a conversation, like the page 2 and the page 1, because I know your worth and I want a whole lot of people to see your worth. Do you want a byline or do you want the cover? And so I had a moment that, and this is just part for the course, I had a moment where I was reaching out to, I was in a space of, I think it was like a raw food vegan like meetup. That's what it was, a raw food vegan meetup. And I meet this woman. I know she's not gonna see it, but I'm just gonna say about the person. And I meet this woman. I was like, wow, I think I've seen her work in a lot of places. I approached her and I said, hi, I'm Dorielle. I said, I have this platform. I'd love to just chat with you. Chat with you to hear more about what you do so I can meet the other people in the spaces at on the platform, or let's say on the level that you're at. First question that she says is, how many followers do you have?
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started on how many follower questions. Like, oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
Right. So let's not take
how am I supposed to grow if you guys don't support?
Right. And that's what it stuck in my head, because I was like, and I mean, I had a couple of hundred at the time, but when I guess she looked me up, and she was like, oh, well, and I said, wow. And in the back of my head, I couldn't say it at that moment, but now I could say,
screw you, girl.
No, because I know I'm actually going to cross her path again. I know I'm going to cross her path again. I know I will. I just know I will. But I wanted to sort of just say, well, in my head, how did you get to the place that you're at?
You started at 0. Instagram starts you at, they start all of us at 0. Unless you're buying followers like a cornball, everybody starts at 0. Let's not talk about who buys followers, because that's a whole nother conversation for another day. A lot of your faves have bought those followers, and if Instagram does another purge, they'll be back at 0 like the rest of us. Like, I wish people would stop.
Right.
I get that. I get it. And you know what? Like, I had another blog that was kind of vague. It didn't really have it was just me trying to be positive and be like, Usa, Kumbaya, Oprah. But there's this girl that I had met in when I lived in Florida. And she had an interesting enough story. She had written a book that was semi-controversial. She had been on a couple TV shows, but it wasn't really clear if she was like doing a whole lot of things. She moved to Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I said, let me reach back out to this girl and see if she would do a blog post with me, because this was before lives and all that stuff. And it wasn't even like an interview. It was just, I'll send her questions and she would just send them back. And so at that point, she wanted to see how many followers I had. And it's just like,
your analytics.
But then the thing is, now she sells like Bitcoin, Forex, those pyramid thing. It's like, girl, bye. Like, I can't. Like, you want to try and help people. Yeah. Like, I can't be to the point where, like, I'll never be to the point. Well, let me rephrase that. I understand the point of asking people how many followers that do they have. Like, I get it. But I also feel that, especially like, you're not Oprah, you're not Michelle Obama, you're not Beyonce. That's my Trinity. That's my Trinity. No, Trinity, Lil T. Let me, the Lil T. Yeah. My Lil T Trinity. Everybody's just trying to make it. Everybody's trying to grow. And I feel like, and with my marketing hat on, you can make 5 minutes for somebody. You can make 5 minutes for somebody. Nobody's expecting you to take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours out of your day. But hey, answer a couple of questions, send them in an email.
Yeah.
Let that person make the content. If you feel like they're not their number count is not worthy of your visual time, send your headshot, do a quick little 2-second yeah on the email, send it back. You're exposing yourself to their followers, whoever their 10 followers might be. You're those are 10 people that probably didn't know you before.
Right.
So that's probably more advantageous for you than it may be even for them.
Right. And
that's how I see it. Like, treat everybody like a potential, marketing situation. You know what I mean? It's not on some, I'm just using you to, but it's just good business, right? That to grow, but also you're trying to grow as well. So if you can't dedicate an hour, dedicate 5 minutes in response to their email. Dedicate, 10 minutes to a quick, people are on Clubhouse. There are so many ways for people to do content now. You don't have to sit in somebody's house or in somebody's office or set up a camera. There's so many ways to do media that you don't have to do these things that, take all day. You don't have to get the glam squad. Just be open to other opportunities, because you exposing your audience to this person might help them, but it also could help you as well. You never know who's listening to what.
So I have to give like a little shout out. So I want to shout out the and those people who have followed my page for a while. I want to say a huge thank you to the elected officials who have said, we see that Doriel has been out here. Yeah. Like, she's tried to connect people. Mm-hmm. And we may say no, or we may say like, not now. And you know what? A couple of weeks later, there's another call. There's another message. There's another email. Because I'm like, here's my focus, especially for the two. So I have 3 subgroups. I have one subgroup that's called like a new classes in session. It's kind of like about education, social justice kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Then I have one that's called Ministers on a Mission. And that's because I know a group of ministers who I'm like, I need for you to say the thing that you say to a group of people who may or may not walk into your church doors.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Then another subsection is called Politician and the People. Mm-hmm. And that particular sub series, if you will, that series is about that elected official to speak to people, once again, who may not come to a town hall, who does not go to Albany, or like we're in New York, who doesn't go to the Capitol.
Mm-hmm. I like that you niche it down, because that's important too.
Right. And so I want to formally say thank you to the person who is now the mayor of the city of New York.
Really? You got Eric Adams? Okay.
Thank you very much. So here's the really special piece about that. What I said to them, and if y'all want to use it, that's fine. What I said to them is, where you sit, and I may have to clip this, right? Where you sit, people need to see that you are a real person, and that you talk to real people who have real concerns, and who will make a real vote for you.
Yeah.
No, that was my mission. That was like part of my little spiel. I said, I want you to speak to real people, not at a place where you go to their fundraisers and because I may not have.
Fundraisers are different. Yeah.
Right. It's a different group of people. Mm-hmm. But can you sit on the couch? Can you sit on my couch and like chat with me about, like, I just have this question, and maybe I don't get it because you're 3,000 people away and I can't get closer to you. But can you come to in my mind, it's an intimate space, but you're miles away, and just have a chat.
Yeah.
And that works. That works. And so, yes, giving that person that 5 minutes, giving that person that 10 or 15 minutes is a real big deal, because it lets the viewers know that's a real person.
Yeah.
Because they came and chatted with Doriel.
Well, and the thing is, you've worked at the expo before. You've done the Red Shirt Brigade.
Actually, I haven't.
No?
I just been a vendor since the first time. But yeah, those relationships are so key.
But what my point was going to be, sometimes the nicest people are the biggest stars, and Aisha will probably she would more than likely co-sign this. She's had stars that we've seen on the biggest of screens and stars that we've seen on nothing hardly at all. And she'll tell you, I'm not naming any names, but the biggest stars have been the nicest people and the most professional. And the people who are not as nice and not as, I probably shouldn't even have put her out there like that, but not as nice as the bigger stars are the people who are not as big of stars. That's a nice way of saying it.
Okay.
And it's just like, that's not really, and in my own way, like, I don't deal with stars or anything. I mean, everybody to me is a star, but
that's how I see my folks.
But, you'd be surprised. Like, some people, you kind of just have to, like, I have to learn every day how to navigate some of these things. And I try to be diplomatic always. If I feel like, okay, let's just move on, then it's just time to move on. But, it's that whole thing is difficult because people are kind of measuring your worth by the number of people that follow you. And it's just like,
people follow.
I just don't like, that's why I don't like using the term followers, because it's just like, I don't want follow Jesus. Like, we're supposed to be followers of the Lord and of Christ, depending on what you believe. Let me not put that out there. Depending on what you do, I follow Christ. We follow Christ. And so that's who I follow. Don't follow me. You are part of the family. We're sharing information. Send me information. I'll share what I have and we'll just make this work. And that's how I see it. I don't let people, gas anybody. We don't gas people up on my page. At least I try not to. Some people I go up for, like my little teacher Trinity, but but other than that, I just, media is I'm learning it's very hard. And being that I'm trying to start my own media platform, it's very hard sometimes. And it's, I stopped to have a baby, and she's 1 year old now, so she's a big girl. She's about to get a job.
Get her in a photo shoot. She needs some contracts, because
the way these Hollywood things are going. My baby's gonna just I'll take pictures in our backyard and keep them saved in my own phone. I can't put my baby out there like that. She's too sweet. But we
so hold on. Wait, let me just pause for the call. So thank you to the people who are watching. We actually had some. So I know my mama's here. Mama, just for the record, I shouted out Englewood. I shouted out Palisade Avenue. I shouted out the Bergen Connection, just so you know. So if there's any people who, especially you have New Jersey relatives, New Jersey cousins in them, New Jersey folks on the block, please invite them into this conversation, share it out, because literally I have hopped across the West Side Highway.
We appreciate you.
That's right. Hopped across to New Jersey in order to get the tea on New Jersey of where to eat, where to get my locks done, where to get, my whatever, my greens, my fruit, from black and brown folks. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to check out Sister Tevra, who has the tea on New Jersey. Ooh, that works.
I know. I need to put that on a t-shirt, right?
You could work that. I'll give you 5%.
Yeah. We'll negotiate that percentage. We'll figure that out. Got the tea on New Jersey. Trademark.
Y'all heard it here. 9/12/22. 9/12/22. 9/12/22. When we give it, child, I've done too much branding and stuff over the last couple of weeks. Lord help me. But anyway, so it's really, 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 really important, of course, that we codify, right? That we even set up markers of advancement for the people who are making it. How, I don't know the number. You would know the number better. I'm not putting you on the spot. But how many businesses got started just in Bergen County or North Jersey, just in the past, since Rona, in the past 3 years? Has it doubled? Has it tripled? Has it quadrupled?
That, I would not know the answer to that. What I do know is, so like I said, I've been at this since 2018. 2020, I got serious about it because of, not serious. I was serious about it in 2019. I was really documenting events, sharing events, going to events, sharing my pictures. When COVID hit, and this is when it really got real, because I don't know if you're, well, of course, this was the other day. Of course you remember, but it seemed like we're in Bergen County, so our news comes from New York, and we have, News 12, but the Bergen County specific news, and this is back when it was still Bergen in color, we did not get that much. And I felt like you kind of, because you're already in like a state of panic. Like I said, I come from, I used to work at the hospital. My spouse is he's in the medical field. So he never stopped. Like, he was going in every day, and I was to empty streets, and it's just that panic. You know what I mean? It was just like panic. Then people started running out of food, and it was just a crazy time. And I remember thinking, okay, well, where's the information at? Because I'm sure not getting it, like, and I'm okay. Like, I'm going to be okay. But what about the people who are not? So I kind of like switched directions kind of on a dime. Like, okay, this is what they're saying at the state. This is what they're saying on the website. This is what the numbers are. Oh my God. This is what the numbers are. This is what the numbers are. This is what the governor said. Here's what some food is. Like, it's just like me. It was like almost like a manic, like, me just sharing information because I wanted people to know what was going on. And I know it seemed a little crazy and nutty, but at that point I felt like people really were like thirsting for information. Like, what the heck are we going to do? Like, you know what I mean? And like, where can we get just like it? So that it kind of it became like, almost like Paul Revere on the horse.
Yes.
And again, not to put myself in these major historical contexts, but it to me, it felt like somebody had to do it. And when I was looking around, like, people that I was expecting to, like, hey, you should be doing something, it was like nothing because at that point, I think people were still just trying to figure out their own situation. And, so I really did a hard pivot and went into just like crisis information mode. It wasn't really like the light stuff. There was no social scene at that point. And then, the George Floyd thing happened, and there was really no social scene. Like, it was like,
right. So intense, so let me just interject for a moment. So thank you. Actually, I want to say shout out to Pumi. Pumi, you're next. Don't think I forgot you. You're next. You're next. So shout out to my stream team. So let me just call it my stream team. So my stream team are the people, and that's like my phrase too. So the stream team are the people who they take notes, they put in the chat, so I can either bring up questions or like bring up like shout outs to people who are saying amazing things. They share, of course. So I just want to say thank you to those people who are here, and they do that live and in the replay. So shout out to all those people who do that. Shout out to the people who have a platform and will shout out. Now that's you, and that's me, and that's some other key people. When we were all in this, what's going on? I'm going to say the day of the insurrection. Now I know that's still a very tender word, but the day of the insurrection, I remember coming home and I was looking around like, why are people like in the street like that? And they're like, didn't you see? And I'm like, see what? I looked at my phone and I saw what was going on. I ran into the house. I hopped onto Facebook and called the closest politician I could get on the phone. And we were on live. Like, shout out to the people who are bold enough to pick up the mic. And as I say, to push the live button and to say, listen, I don't know what's going on, but as soon as I find out, I'm going to let you know. Let's talk about this. Not many people feel comfortable to do that. Not many people. So shout out to you, Tevra, to people like myself and whoever who are just, okay, I may not be, just call me the voice crying in the wilderness. I may not be Moses, leading people out of Egypt, but I got my little megaphone and it's called live stream. But for places like New NJ in color, for things like, what I'm trying to do, just say, hey, here's a great person you should know. They do great work. You should know about it. They give great services. You should know about it. You're that same person on the Jersey side. So now how do you do this? How do you let people know what's happening? You have You have a flyer, you have a directory. What you got? How do
Okay,
we get it?
so you made a point about going live and hitting the live button, because that's your whole thing, hitting the live button. And just a real quick thing. A while back, there was this, you know how there's reels on Instagram, and
Mhm.
you could add like somebody's voiceover or whatever. And so one of the ones said something like, "Don't be afraid of being being cringy because you're doing whatever you feel like you need to do. You know, yeah, you might look weird to like your neighbors or your family, but if this is something that, you know, at the end of your life, you don't want to look back and think of all the things that you missed out on because you didn't want to look stupid in front of your friends." So
I love it.
I took that voiceover and just added all the little clips from me, from going forward, of me in various things, me, you know, what all the little adventures that I had over the past few years. And I put in the caption, it's like, you know, every time I go to an event or go live, you know, it's not easy. Like sometimes you just want to go to an event and enjoy it and just go home like a regular person. And I
Right.
have that option. It's not like this not nobody's putting a gun in my head. Like I have that option, and I do go to things and I don't take not one picture that goes out. I just go and I go home like a normal person. But sometimes, you know, I do share what I do.
Mhm.
Um, and I said, you know, sometimes sharing, you know, speaking live, I get nervous every single time. You know, being talking to people, asking them questions. I feel like it's not like I'm some like extrovert or anything like that. I do get nervous, and sometimes it physically hurts to go up to people at events or at different things to talk to them, knowing that I need to get this content and need to, you know, open up my mind to new people, but also you just don't want to because you don't feel like it. Like, you know,
Hmm.
but if you have a dream, if you have something that you're really pushing forward, you just have to just do it, you know? And so yeah, so to say, you know, you hit the live button, sometimes, yeah, it does make you really nervous and you do get scared. And you know, sometimes you do
Yeah.
look crazy. Like I know I look crazy a lot of times. I understand this, but sometimes it just has to be done. And you know, this is the position that I put myself in. I love what I do, and I'm working every day to continue to be able to do it and then grow it to a level where I can truly be proud of it, you know? So, which brings me to like all the things that I got going on. So, we just launched the directory. There is the North Jersey BIPOC, even though that's a controversial term, but to me it's not controversial because I never want to say this is only for black. This is not only. It's not only for black people. Um, Black and brown people. There, we have a mixture of nationalities in our directory. It is centered on black people. I make no qualms about that. But um, in my mind, and you know, and me being, you know, I guess, you know, kind of like in a like you want to have like a world where, you know, black kids and white kids and can hold hands. And you know, in my world, I just want to be in a situation where we can truly like support each other. I know in reality that's not always the case, but I do want it to be something where uh we can support each other. That said, it's very heavily a black business directory. Um, Yeah, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. I have over 125 businesses so far and counting. And that's
Wow.
for North Jersey. And I'm finding new people every day. Now, do they want to sign up? I don't know. But, you know, I find more than that. But it's just a matter of I can't sign people up. They have to sign up themselves. And so, you know, it's just a matter of I just have to I just propose it to them. Hey, I have this directory. If you want to be in it, here's the information. And you know, some people are interested and some people are not, and that's okay. But I really want it to be a point where people can say, oh, you know what, I was looking for um where to get my locks retwisted. Hey, I remember there is a place in Edgewater called the Tina Pearson Salon. They also do natural hair. Boom, they're in the directory. You know what I
Beautiful.
mean? So it's like
Yeah.
there's all these different things. Like there's all these different ways that I want to be able to do, or, hey, I just got a raise on my job. I have all this income. I want to do investing, but I don't even know where to start. Well, I saw that in that directory, David Carler in Paramus, he is a Black financial advisor. I need insurance. I'm going to call Tammy Felton, State Farm agent. Like, there's all these businesses that are there that, we don't just do soul food. Shout out to all my soul food folks. Shout out to you see all this. I'm a happy patron of soul food restaurants, but also we do so many other things. We have spas, we have salons, we have boutiques. In fact, in my drafts, it's probably gonna be released tonight. I was at a CBD boutique in Fort Lee that's Black owned, and if you know anything about Fort Lee, New Jersey, that's the last thing you would expect to be Black owned. Like, is in the middle, not even like in the outskirts, like in the middle of the city center of Fort Lee is a Black owned business. Like, it's like, okay, you go, boy. Like, you want to give him a high five because like, how, how, but he's doing it, and I can certify that their product works, and it's great to see that people are branching out of just one industry or two industries. We're branching out into so many different things. And I just want to be the one to like chronicle that, along with, I just put out a video of the Deltas. I'm a Delta. Shout out to my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Bergen County Alumni Chapter. Yay! Okay, so I put out a video of, our white party. Just a short video, just to show that, hey, we had a blast. It wasn't anything formal. It was not a gala. We just went to a location outdoors to be safe, COVID safe, and had a party. It was very nice, but also when it's gala season, which is about to kick off, we'll see which one I can make it to, but I'll be in a gown and go to one of those, like we have so many things going on in our community that I think people just see us as, and I know the mainstream media thinks of us in this area as, hey, this athlete lives here. This guy's on the Giants. He lives here. Right. This guy, he's on TV. He's a comedian. He lives here. Let's find these three people all the time and give them, it's the same people all the time. But no, there's like a whole gamut of people doing so many different things and so many different events.
Architects, artists.
There's so many different people doing like amazing things here. Right. So many different events. Like I said, our culture is just so like, we had the Caribbean Festival in Inglewood. There was one in Jersey City. They had the Jersey City Carnival was a few weeks ago. So there's a Caribbean community. There's like I said, the Black sororities and fraternities are here. Like everybody's here. Like, and I haven't even scratched the surface. I haven't even gotten into like the church community, just because. Shout out to the positive community. They got that covered. That's not my, that's not my strong suit, because that's like it's like a whole nother world when you go into like church culture and religious culture here in the Northeast. So it's like a whole nother thing. So we have to like, really embrace all of the different facets of ourselves and show how we can express. Yeah, Inglewood has changed. If you've been over there, Inglewood's going to be the next like Brooklyn. It's Inglewood and Hackensack. If you have a chance, go to Hackensack. And let your jaw drop.
No, we even drove past the house that we lived in, and I was like, oh my gosh, the block is still the same, but just the houses and the restructuring, and like down the block, down again from the Teaneck border. Down Palisade, we're like, oh my gosh, where'd that new store come from? Oh my gosh, where did that? Beautiful, just beautiful.
It's gonna be the new Brooklyn over here.
Beautiful.
Hackensack is I think it's the biggest like 180 of everybody, because when I moved here, and I got here 9 years ago, we looked at Hackensack, but I was like,
so I'm talking like 30, 40 years ago, I was there. I'm talking 30, 40 years ago. And I was like, Ooh.
No.
Now we're like, 5, 6 years ago, we were like, wait a minute. Wait, where'd they come from? Wait. So shout out to those people who are the blacks and browns who are redeveloping and who are investing.
Well, that's a whole nother topic, because it's not always, we're not always included in a lot of that stuff. And that's why we need to hold on, hang on, and support each other so that we can stick around to reap some of the benefits. But when we don't support each other, that goes to supporting our elected officials. Again, this is already an hour almost, like, and by on purpose, I don't really go into the politics of the area because it gets so messy. And I had one foray because one of my friends was running, and just seeing what she had to go through, I was just like, I can't, because it's just it gets to be very messy. And our Black candidates, it's hard for them to be a Black candidate in this area. Especially as a woman, especially as a woman with conviction. It's difficult. And so I don't really get too tough into politics like that. I just stick into the lifestyle and the information and business. That's my foray. I don't do politics. I mean, I have lots of views, as you can see. I try not to put those on, because I don't want my comments to be in a shambles, because we're in a different time. It's just a different, more extreme time.
It is fabulous to be able to connect with another person who sees the positive and the great things that individuals, that small businesses, that medium-sized businesses, that large businesses, that up-and-coming businesses, that incubators, that masterminds, that the shepreneurs, the hepreneurs, the familypreneurs, that the mom and pop, the I want to say, like, the mother and son, and the father and daughter teams, like all of these, I want to use the word nicely, the intersections of family who are starting, reviving, growing businesses, who are saying, yes, working for someone else is okay, but I'd like to have my own. Those people who are in the agricultural industry in New Jersey, and I'm saying that purposefully, because Jersey has
a lot of agriculture.
Has a lot of agricultural land that most people will just think about, and I'm going to say like New Yorkers, that we think about like Irvington, Jersey City, Newark, in some parts of Bergen County, or like maybe Atlantic City. Like, no, there's so much agriculture.
Central Jersey has a lot of farmland. There's a lot of farmland in a lot of those counties in the central part of the state. Yeah, I don't really do a whole lot in Central and South Jersey, but those areas do have a lot of agricultural. They have a lot of agriculture. They have a lot of research and pharmaceuticals. They have a lot of, a lot of those industries are really big in those areas. And there are a lot of brothers and sisters that are doing lots of great things out in those areas that don't get, because it's not Newark. It's not, Newark gets a lot of the, if it's not New York, it's Newark. They just kind of skip over to that area. And that's kind of where, when it was Bergen and Color, that's where we lived, in that whole like intersection of, well, we're not New York, but we're, a stone's throw away, but we're not Newark. So we're, what do we do? But what I've learned is that we're more, it sounds so cliche, but we're more alike than we think. Because in this northern New Jersey area, there's so much overlap in many ways. Like Newark is like its own microcosm, or macrocosm, I guess, because it's so big. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is. Macrocosm is fine.
You know what I mean? I do. Newark is big, and it's a huge community. However, in certain ways, there are so many overlaps that come into Montclair. Montclair is another large community. Montclair, Bloomfield, Clifton, all of those areas leading into Patterson, Passaic, Garfield leading into, Bergen County. So as I started to learn more about the landscape, I realized that I can't just focus on one without kind of accidentally tripping into like Montclair. I love Montclair, or I can't just do, this thing without being pulled into like a Montclair, not a Montclair, a Newark situation
Right.
or something. So it's kind of like, okay, well, how do I bring all of this together? Because we are just a short drive away from each other, and a lot of these things overlap, and a lot of the market that we're trying to reach, we're all sharing the same market. So let's just try to, I never, I'm not like I said, Newark is its own culture and everything like that. So respect to Newark. Not trying to be a Newark person, a Newark person. I'm not even saying it right, and they're gonna like call me out, and they will call me out. That's why I'm just like, I don't want no problems. Don't want no problems.
No smoke.
However,
No smoke. No smoke.
I mean, for event situations, politically, like a lot of the things that they do there affect us here, and vice versa. We are, kind of somewhat in a kind of a relationship, kind of in some ways. So I just want to like honor that without stepping too far into that world. I just want to be able to, on the surface, kind of just like bring all of our areas together, because we're stronger together, in many ways. We are stronger together, and I might not know every nook and cranny of life in that area, but if I know enough, I can connect you to such and such that might know a little bit more, and who might know a little bit more than I do.
That's right.
So I've always been a connector by nature, and that's my only goal. Like, I want to be able to showcase the good and point people into the right direction. That's basically my goal.
So now I live on Facebook, you live on Instagram. So I know, because sometimes I'm scrolling, both sides of the fence, so both sides of the social media fence, and I see you pop up. Do you have a specific like day or time, or it's just like sort of when you're at an event, that's when you pop up and say, hey,
as far as live?
Yeah, because I know I've seen you on occasion, but I'm not sure if it's scheduled time.
So I used to do this thing called Bergen in Color Live. I'm going to bring it back as NJ in Color Live.
Okay.
I just have to get some scheduling things. Like I said, I got some things going on at the house. So once I get my scheduling together and start lining things up, that'll be back. And so that was like once a week. And then I used to do something else on Fridays. That was kind of like a weekly wrap up. So I'm bringing that back. But as far as, and those were live on Instagram. So as far as like just going live, if like the other day we had our school supplies drive, and that was live. So
I sent mine in.
Oh yeah, no, thank you so much. And shout out to everybody who donated, because the kids, they like, if you guys could see their faces with these backpacks and the stuff, like they were just so like.
Did you take pictures of the backpacks?
Yeah, so that's me in these videos. So these videos take me a minute to pull together because I'm so cheap. I don't want to pay somebody to put them together.
Can I just say this?
Live. I'm trying to hold on to every penny.
That's why I just go live, because people are like, oh my gosh, so how long does it take for you to edit? I said 0.
Yeah, no, I did go live that day.
I don't do that.
I did go live. We took a ton of pictures. So between the 2 days of distribution, we took a lot of pictures. So that's good. I have to do the wrap up. We just ended officially yesterday.
Right. No, so actually, I want to just share that out. And so for those people who are still on, and we'll wrap up in a couple minutes. I really wanted to shout you out, because again, I was like strolling the internet street, as we social media folks say, and I just said, oh my goodness, so Tevra's on. Like, what is she talking about? And it was, I'm just gonna say, it was a marathon. I don't want to give credit to the
give-a-thon. Yeah.
The give-a-thon. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? And I have to say that it was I'm going to say it to you, because I didn't hear about anybody else do it before. That's why it's so important for those who have the idea. Don't like go through the whole imposter syndrome. Oh, so-and-so did it, so I can't do it. No, I didn't see them other people do it. I saw you do it. And it was this beautiful give-a-thon of, you can have like your 2 minutes of talking about your business if you get a backpack. Mm-hmm. Here's the link on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Click it, go get, and have you your 2 minutes and talk about your business. And I was like, that's amazing. I love that idea.
Listen, I should have copyright that I should have copywritten, but
that's gonna be borrowed.
I need to call Melanie. Shout out to Melanie Cunningham. She's my lawyer. I need to call her, and I owe her like yeah, she's probably like, yeah, you do need to call me, Heifer.
I love it.
Yeah, no, the Giveathon just came about because we started so late in the year because, like I said, I have some things going on here, and I did not want to cancel. Like I said, we can't cancel because I want to keep my streak going as long as I possibly can.
Beautiful.
So we've been doing the school supplies drive, and in the holiday season, I do a toy and book drive 4 years in a row straight, no interruptions. So
wait.
It's hard.
Look.
I know. Thank you.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. So it's like I didn't want to cancel it, but it gets to be very like late in the year, and it's like you're scrambling. So I was like, okay, how can I just do something real quick? So I was thinking the Jerry Lewis telethon, old school, again with the gray hair, dating myself. I said, well, what if we just did it on Instagram? So I just sat on Instagram. Unbeknownst to me, remember, I don't know if you remember when they used to cut you off after an hour. Now they just let you like go. That was like helpful to me because I didn't want to have to cut off and cut on. So
because there's a lot of people on here. Excellent.
Yeah, shout out to Instagram because I just went on for like 4.5 hours of just straight talking. I was so tired afterwards, but we got a lot of donations, and shout out to you, Dorielle, for your giving as well. We appreciate it. And it just really helped us out because, again, like I said, we started late. We didn't have the events like we usually would have around it. And I didn't want to cancel because, whether we had it or not, the kids still need,
Beautiful.
And I didn't want to back out of our commitment. So,
I thought that was amazing. I was like, wow, how? I was like, wait, girl, how long are you talking? Like, who's popping on? I thought it was so beautiful. I really, really appreciated it. And let me just say also, shout out to the people who are even popping on now. At the next time, so please go follow. You see it down below, scrolling across, and you see it in her name right there, NJ in Color. NJ in Color. Please follow NJ in Color on the gram, on here on Facebook. She's there as well.
No, I'm on Facebook. My Facebook is not as strong as I'm not even sure why that is because I'm on Facebook too. Follow my Facebook page. My Facebook is kind of just like but follow me on Facebook. We also have our North Jersey BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and People of Color business network. So that's a private page, but if you are a business owner, join it. There's no fee. Just join it because that's where we talk business. Because I find that, there's a lot of things that I want to share and I want people to comment on, but it's not for everybody. It's not for all the followers. So let me just put it in one place where the business people can just talk. And so that's why I do. So Dorielle, go ahead and join too, because you're a business owner.
Again, I can cross the water. My son goes to school in New Jersey. Does that count?
Yeah, that's fine. Now, I'm not a discriminator. I'm not not going to say no. She lives in. I'm not like that. Like I said, my kumbaya. I don't. I might be like, okay, girl, like this is for us. You can't. But
no problem.
The more the merrier is in my book. But yeah, I just had to participate, and I just started it. It was under a different name. I really streamlined it, so now it's just about building it up. So, if you are a business owner in the area, join our Facebook group as well, which is for Black and POC business owners, as well as you can join our directory. The directory has a one-time fee of just like $25. It's just to help us, with the database. I'm not trying to break anybody's back. Everybody, because I understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur and to have like a shoestring budget. And, a lot of times we want to be in these networks and we want to be in these chambers of commerce and all of these things, but they're so expensive. And so you start out not having that connection because it's just like the barrier of entry is the cost, And so I'm not trying to break anybody's back, but anything that I send out costs me money. So I have to like kind of, at least try to make some of it back.
Recoup
I'm
a
not saying.
stamp. How about recoup a stamp?
Yeah, a stamp. Yeah, exactly.
Recoup
Which
a
is
stamp.
literally, compared to some of these prices I've seen, it's literally like buying a stamp. Because I've seen some of these rates, it's just like, what do I get? What do I get in return for joining this Chamber of Commerce for what? Like, what do I
A
get out of
Krispy
this?
Kreme donut, a
Expensive.
cup of tea, and the chance to be in the room to help you figure out, are you going to go up to that person and say hi? You going to go up to that person and say hi? You got your business cards ready? Is your shoes looking right? Is your bag the right color? Is your
Oh,
pearls the right size?
yeah. Don't get me started. And not knocking, presentation, and it you only have one chance to make a first impression. That's real, and we're not knocking any of that. However, a lot of times, we overlook, like we block. They say you block your blessing because you're looking at the brand of people's handbag, and
That's
just.
why you come on the digital couch. You come on the Doria Laria show. I don't care what you got on. Just bring them up.
Listen, if you saw these pants, right? These MC Hammer pants I got on right now, nobody has to see it. I have a baby. I have to dress for comfort.
That's right. That's right. So listen, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to finally have this conversation. Literally, this conversation is what? 4 years in the making. We started talking. How
No,
old is
not
the
for
expo?
me.
How old is the expo? This is the
Expo's what,
4th year.
This is the 4th year. But I wasn't in business as long as the expo.
No, but when I met
known each
you, I
other.
was like,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you. I
Yeah.
want to talk to you. So yeah, this is 4 years in the making, and it's right on time. That's the bottom line, right on time. So I'm so excited to be able to, when I fly across the water and I go peek at my
When you
son
come across the GWB.
on the G Dub, I wave to the spirit of my grandmother who'd be sitting at the toll, right? That's right. Now there's just like a little camera.
There's
There's
no
no
toll.
people
Like, yeah,
anymore.
they took out the toll.
I know. Got rid of all those people. Shame on them. But I will look for Tevra. I will look. I'll be at the monument on Palisade like Tevra.
And when you come, you need to go to TJ's Southern Gourmet and get you a plate and tell them Tevra sent you from. Well, you'll see when you go in there. You'll probably see something of mine that I had left behind because I always leave my flyers everywhere I go. So it's almost like Tevra was here. You see her stack of flyers.
But that's
I do still use old school flyers. I don't have any shame in that.
I would do this. Usually, I think my version of, let's say, the flyers is I go into a place, and because I've done it in Brooklyn for years, and people are like, Doria, like, why are you going live like in this place? I said, no, look, there's a juice bar on Flatbush Avenue. Well, and I'll say on my side of Flatbush Avenue. So there was one, and this was like 6 years. I remember like 6 or 7 years ago. I just cut my hair. So it was about 7 years ago. And I was at a juice bar on the corner. Those of y'all here in Brooklyn, it was on the corner of Beverly Road and Flatbush Avenue. Now, y'all know there was a farm in the deli, and right across there was a juice bar. And I said, can you imagine? And I literally was like, look, guys, there's a juice bar. And they're like, oh my goodness, we have a juice bar? Yes. They would not have known had I not done that. Yeah. And I said, wait a minute, look at all the people who now know there's a juice and a smoothie bar around the corner from Sears, like around across the street from CVS. Who would have thought?
And that's all people need. Just let them know that this exists. And that's half of the battle. People just need to know,
And so I started going into businesses, especially if they were Black owned. And I was like, do you need like free advertising? Or like,
that's what I do.
How are you expecting people to like get to know that you're here? Oh, if people walk by, I'm like, people don't necessarily walk by on this.
And that's where we fall short, right? Because that's where we fall short because, oh my gosh, she's crying in the. I don't know if you heard that. I'm sorry. It's bedtime. She's putting up a fight. But yeah, no, it's funny because, a lot of times when people see, oh, well, I could do this and I have advertising rates. It's like they run away because they think, oh, she's going to be expensive. And one, I'm not expensive. Two, sometimes I do a lot of the posts on there that you see are done for. I don't charge. Like, unless you have bought a campaign from me, I have not sent an invoice. There is no charge. I might be a stupid business owner. I need to get my husband on here so he can tell you guys like she doesn't know what she's doing. But he does my books, and he's gonna be like, this is not gonna work.
But the
But
benefits are
because
going
I
to come
understand.
down the line.
Yeah, I understand like who my audience is as far as the business owner. Now, if you own Amazon, yeah, I need you need to run me some coins. You know what I mean? But if you have like you do braids and I understand. We're all trying to make it. We're all trying to get through. So it's not like anybody. We just want people to know that you exist, and that's my thing. And when you get it big, like I tell everybody, I've told everybody when Oprah calls, don't act like you don't know me. Ask anybody. Ask Aisha. Ask Shantae. Ask our mutual friends. I've told this to all of them. When Oprah calls, don't act like you don't know me.
Hold on. Speaking of Missy, that's okay because I'm calling her next. She has her banner already done. Already done. She knows. We're gonna tag her. Make sure she be like, Dory, I was looking for you.
Yeah.
All
Shout out
right.
to Shantae Glover Jones. She's a speech pathologist. She's a Black speech pathologist based in North Jersey, and her company is called Having Our Say, and her website is havingourSay.org. She's amazing, and she also wrote a book called
Liam's first haircut.
Liam's First Cut.
Yeah, Liam's first cut.
Yeah, that's all people need. That's all, and that's how you support your friends. You support their business by one, just actual support, like go buy a book from your homegirl if she wrote one, and two, if you have the opportunity, shout them out. Like it doesn't take that took us all of 10 seconds.
That's it.
I mentioned Aisha like 4 times. Follow Aisha's page, the Sisters in Business Expo at SIP Expo.
Yep. There we go.
Join us on the tour. We will be in Newark on October 21st and 22nd, and we will have Debbie Smith, the media maven, and also Yandy Smith Harris from TV's Love and Hip Hop. And I will see you there, and I will be in the media room where you will be too, Dorielle, aren't you? Yes. Did you?
I'll be a vendor if y'all snag me into the media room. Y'all snag me in. Do me a solid.
You should do the media room.
Do me a solid. Do me a solid. We're gonna talk offline.
Fill out the thing, girl. Just be in the room. In the room where it happens.
I love you all. Hold on a second. Wait. Oh, hey. Okay, wait. Let me just bring this thing up. So thank you, Pumi, for it. So she goes, this is Pumi Lele. Kona, she's a great sister of mine, and she's gonna be on the show as well. She goes, editing does take time. What apps do you use? I use InShot, but lately I just edit directly onto IG and TikTok. Let me tell you, that's a whole other conversation. I don't have the bandwidth for editing. I tried like to do a TikTok the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's all these things. That's why for me, live stream is it. I love it. No editing. You get the raw and uncut, and I do well at that.
So I don't have TikTok. I don't do TikTok as of yet. Maybe when I get some help in here, I'll add that. But right now, no. But what I do have, I use a app called Splice for video. SPLICE, Splice.
I'm gonna type it in. Go ahead.
And Canva. Everybody has Canva.
Ooh,
I have Canva Pro.
I have Canva. I invest in that. That is an investment.
Yeah, that everybody needs Canva.
And there's Canva.
YouTube Studio is helpful. I use YouTube Studio on the back end. And that's pretty much it. What I end up doing, because I like to be able to post.
Okay, wait, there's Spice.
That's Spice. Yeah, with the S.
Got it. Okay.
That's cool, with Instagram Reels, especially, I like to be able to use my content everywhere. And with Reels, you can't always use that audio everywhere unless you finagle.
I'm very upset because I try to use it across platforms to Instagram and to Facebook, and it's
Facebook. Depending on what it is, they'll mute it. YouTube, depending on what it is, will mute it. So the Delta video that I was referencing earlier, I think was not muted on YouTube, but may have been muted on Facebook. but I love the audio so much that I just left it because it was like a spoken word thing about I love Black people, blah blah blah. I love it so much that I just like, you know what, copyright. I don't care. I just love it. It has to just whatever part they muted that's what it is.
But
otherwise, I just make everything in Splice, which you use the license free music, the generic background music, so that it can just go everywhere and you don't have a problem. So it's not anything with more. It's not any music that anybody recognizes, but you can find like a reggae beat or a or a hip hop beat or a techno beat and just put it on there, and you can just load it up on any platform without any issue.
So I'm thinking, of course, like we're over time and it doesn't even matter because now we're just still chilling. That's actually going to put those people who are awake, like those people who are woke. Mm-hmm. It's actually going to push creatives like who would say that? Ayana Blount, the passion strategist. Y'all go follow her too, the passion strategist. It's going to push creatives to create their own, like more voiceovers. It's going to do that. If you can't handle that, I'm an Earth, Wind and Fire lover, right? If you can't handle me doing Shining Star, shout out to Earth, Wind and Fire, EWF all day, across platforms, and I can't find the same clip on FB that I can on IG because it's just different. You get different versions. Like, why are you having covers for Earth, Wind and Fire? Don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm on my rant. But then you're going to push people to not have to do those copyrights, to do some more voiceovers. How many voiceovers do you now see on Reels? Yeah. You see more voiceovers, just like regular people doing their own spiels. I shouldn't use that word, but anyway.
But then that's another way that you can get almost like they say, Insta famous, because of if your voiceover, like I've used other people's voiceovers before because they're just that good, Yeah, and so it's like I said it earlier. There's so many ways to find content. There's so many ways to use media that you don't have to rely on the regular ways to do anything anymore.
You're right.
That's one thing that this age has brought about, and also I think too, like this, you can kind of see my background. I'm trying to hide it so you guys can't see how messy this room is.
No, we only see your background. Your
because I put my hand up and you can see like my dresser. Can you see?
Oh,
dresser is.
Not until you did that. I was like, is that jewelry? Whatever.
Yeah, it's my jewelry.
It's fine.
But yeah, there's so many ways to like make things. So I think being in the house during the COVID shutdown also was part of the reason why we had to get more creative with a lot of things. And StreamYard and Zoom, all this stuff did not come about until the shutdown, which thank God, because it just kind of opened up a whole new world of opportunities, because I don't have to be in the same room with you. I don't have to travel and go to New York and go. I'm in my junkie room.
What do you do?
You're in your office.
Push the live button.
And
that's
push the live button and just
push the live button. That's what we do. That's what we do. So let me just say one last thing for the people who are still here, or people who are like flew in at the end or towards the end. You do. So I have my own, like, I guess, like family, and it's called the Live Stream Lab, where we meet to build content. Y'all, I have my whole wall over here is just filled with charts and schedules and post-its and everything. And we build content together. We sit and we brain flow. I don't like the word brain dump. We brain flow together. We sort of give each other feedback. Mastermind, Sheprenine, whatever you want to call it, group. And I know you have a gathering, right? A gathering of familyhood, similarly, and you then do work for people. So there's some stuff that is probably done for you. There's some things that you say, hey, here's the template or whatever, do it yourself. And then there's some things that you probably say, hey, I'll do this with you. I'll guide you. I'll do strategy sessions with you. So tell us just a little bit about that. And then we can sort of wrap up. If there are any questions, I'm actually trying to look for any additional questions. I am happy to field them as well. So tell us, like, listen, I have this idea, but I really don't have the time. I need you to do it for me. Do you do that?
I used to, but now I don't have the time. Like I said, I just had a baby. So like I was also mentioning in our offline, I'm staffing. So Once I get like staffed and figure all that out, then that will resume. But so my company is called tevMedia, and I'm a marketing consultant. So yeah, if you have an idea, I can help you flesh that out, help you strategize, and help you, take the necessary steps to be able to bring that plan to fruition. Yeah, I used to do it in healthcare. I used to do it in, legal support services. And so now I'm doing it for small business owners. And so far, so good. It's just a matter of meeting people where they are. And a huge reason as to why, this particular platform became what it is because I needed something to say, okay, for my small businesses who can't get into the mainstreams and this, here's something that you're 100% guaranteed a platform here because I own it, which is the power of owning your own things. Like you build it and you can decide who gets on it and who does not. And not to say you're a gatekeeper, but people have the ability to get gatekeep in so many different arenas that don't benefit us. So if I'm building something that I can gatekeep, that means I can open the gate and let in who I want, because a lot of times we are not allowed to come in the gates of other people's platforms, if that makes sense.
Yep. So I'm going to use my white glove and say I will be the usher at the door. And I'm saying that because those people who know me from my youth, I was an usher. Usher, here you go. Here you go. Yes, I'm the usher at the door. So we will be ushers at the door together. Mm-hmm. I thank you. I thank you for sharing about how Bergen in Color got started and then how it's now shifted to a greater space of New Jersey in color or North Jersey in color, NJ in color. I'm excited.
It might become North, depending on how I feel. South Jersey, Central Jersey, look out. We might be coming your way.
I love it. I love it. Well, that when you get fully staffed, then you can have people go south.
Well, that's my thing. New Jersey is a small state, but it's very big as well. So
I don't think of it as small. I think of it as big.
It's big.
I do. So I'm thankful to have finally gotten a chance to chat with you, to sort of hear the things that go on behind, those beautiful eyelashes of yours, to hear how you were growing people's business, how you went from making people well from the administrative perspective to making people's business even more well, right? By expanding their possibilities, expanding their markets, giving them the shout out that they need, the shout out that they didn't even know that they needed.
Yeah.
Helping local businesses, letting them shine, not just through a flyer, but through the social media that 5-10 years ago, people were like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Go be on the computer. No, I have people gonna walk down the block and they're gonna see my business card, or they're gonna see,
or better yet, you remember the penny saver? Did you guys have the penny saver? Or am I just speaking from a California perspective? It was penny saver back then.
Yeah. New Jersey had one. I can't remember what it was in New York, but yes.
Well, you got to add in the penny saver.
Yep. And so all of those things are now, we don't have to use paper. We don't have to get our fingers
inky.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Inky. It's just, you swipe, you push and you go. You swipe on this side, you swipe on that, swipe left, swipe left. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful that we are at this space and time where we can use the talent that we have, the skill that we have to bring about shifts in people's minds to say, hey, look at that person over there. That person has a product, that person has a service. You really should. I know they're on that side of the street. You never go on that side of the street.
Yeah.
But you might want to go.
Exactly.
You're going to be missing a blessing.
Hey, a quick story then before you go off. So the other day I was, had to go get some hair products. There's a Black-owned beauty supply in Teaneck, New Jersey called Realistic Beauty Supply on Cedar Lane.
Oh, Cedar Lane?
Cedar Lane in Teaneck.
Cedar Lane.
The main. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Black-owned beauty supply there. Went to pick up some products. And I said, hey, I got my flyers. Let me just drop off, because there's quite a few Black-owned businesses on Cedar Lane now. And so went across to Straight Nappy. Straight Nappy is where you can get your hair braided and get your locks done. Shout out to Straight Nappy.
I love it.
On Straight Nappy, my girl in there says, "Hey, there's a pet food store just a few doors down. Have you met her yet?" I was like, "No. Let me go down the street." so
Wait,
I
straight
walked down
snappy.
there and met Companion Pet Food Supply Store, and they are also on Cedar Lane. And her name is Elena, and she has all these pet food brands and for all the pets that you can possibly have: lizards, dogs, cats,
Wait,
rabbits.
companion what?
Companion Pet Food Supply.
Okay.
It's all on my page. If you look on my Instagram, I did a video of her. And yeah, didn't know this sister had a whole pet food store. She had been open since 2020. Had not a clue. I passed by there every single day. Did not know that she was there. Also on that, Teaneck has a lot going on, but they have like lots of Black businesses. But just to make that example as to how, one person supports the next person, I did a video of her, and now people are just like, I didn't know that was there, and I pass by there all the time. So, and people have pets, and so we just want to support. So it's just a matter of like, just getting the word out about things, and that's all people need. Just spread the word. It doesn't have to be me. Everybody has a platform. Everybody has a voice. If you know somebody that has their own business, support them by sharing their business with your community. That's all we ask.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Thank you so much. So, especially if you're in the North Jersey, Bergen, north of
Passaic,
whatever.
Hudson, Essex.
There we go. All of them there.
Morris.
Go over to NJ in Color on all social media platforms. Let Tevra know if she doesn't already have them in the business directory, in the Black business directory. Please let the store owner, the entrepreneur, shepreneur, hepreneur, doesn't matter if they are part of the Black, the brown, the BIPOC community. Let them know, hey, do you know about NJ in Color? If you're not already a part, call Tevra, contact her on social media so you can get into the directory so she can get some of her flyers into your stores. Let the people them know. Let them know. You want to grow? Tevra got to know. Oh, I did it again. If you want to know, no, if you want to grow, Tevra got to know. That one too.
I'm taking that one. If you want to grow, Tevra got to know.
Y'all gonna stop sleeping on my genius. I'm just telling you. I got a host of these things. All right. So peace and blessings. This is you can write that down. You can write that down.
I'm writing. You see, I'm writing it down now.
Please do. This is a learn to grow you moment where I plant seeds to help you grow. I am so blessed and honored and highly favored that Tevra Francis of NJ in Color would find it or would consider it not robbery to be on my show in order to share NJ in Color, in order to share the life and the breath of giving shout outs and spotlighting the amazing entrepreneurs in the North Jersey area. I love you much. I will see you at the expo in a couple of weeks.
Yes, you will.
And when I fly over across the G-Dub or through the Holland of Lincoln, I'm coming to look for you, okay?
Listen, come across the GWB and I'm literally right. You're gonna see how close I am to the GWB. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I've passed your house.
We're gonna talk about it right now.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody else, I will see you next time. Please set your notifications. And we will be back with another great, amazing person. Hold on, let me just get my
Thanks,
show notes. Hold on. Remember, don't go anywhere.
I won't.